Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Earth Rising. We are so happy. It is February 2nd, 2023. Can you believe it?
No.
We are well into this year. And I am Michele Lambergy. I am the Awakener. I am one of many. If you're here with us, you're an Awakener too. We're all becoming aware of who we truly are. And it's this exciting, wonderful adventure. And Sharon and I are so excited to welcome Seph Dietlin. This is, did I say that right?
You did, and I'm so proud of you. Thank
Right
you. Hardly
on.
anyone. Thank
Right
you.
on. That it
Yes.
helps having a German father to understand how to say those names, right?
There we go.
We're so
Yes.
happy you're here. This is
Me too.
wonderful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we have my co-shenanigator here, Sharon, um, who
Hel-
is just an amazing person. And we're so excited. I'm like, I don't even want to do our typical talk about ourselves thing. I just want to talk to Seph and see
I
what
know,
is the deal
right?
is. I love
Right?
you already, my
Oh,
brother.
I love you too. This is great. And we're so in time where that is so activated, and it's a party on planet Earth right now.
hmm
Yeah, it really, really is, isn't it? It's so
Yes.
fun. And we're so happy that you're here, Seph. This
Me
is
too. Thank you.
wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, Seph.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and
Thank
joining
you.
us and spreading love and joy and everything, all the good stuff. Thank you, thank you.
All the good stuff.
hmm And
Yes.
thank you everyone for being
Thank
here
you.
out there in our audience land or whatever you want to call it. So Seph, do you mind sharing a little
And
bit
the
about yourself?
extension of
There
yes, yes, yes.
there we go.
It's
Extension. Yes.
the all of you out there in the extension of us, our unity, our brothers and
Yes.
sisters in unity. Yes, I love it.
Beautiful.
Well,
Mhm.
I've learned recently to call myself a human potential activator, and in this way that, and we all are, um, and it's the way that we actually get to, let's say, have a way of identifying what it is that we truly do. And so, even though I have the gift of intuition and do hypnotherapy, and that's not really what I do, right? Those are just tools. So many of our fellow human potential activators, conscious luminaries, there's we all know that we're here to raise the frequency of the planet, and that's what we're here to do, and we're here to have that experience. So in that, I'm a human potential activator, and I use the tools of intuition and use the world of allowing people or facilitating people to access their higher mind and their heart, and utilizing the flow of energy and frequency to pull at this very special and pivotal time in human history. So I work with the angels. The angels are my big thing. They came in 20 years ago, and 20 years ago, when they first come in, they talked about the heaven on earth, or the new earth that's coming. They gave me an idea of what that would look like. They also gave me an idea of what that shift would look like. We're in it. Um, for those out there who are wondering and need some validation, we're definitely in it.
We're in
And
it.
so, yes, we're in it. Oh, that should be a bumper sticker. So, but um,
You can look at that you can look at that many ways.
yes, exactly,
We are in
exactly.
it.
Yes, so we're in it, and we're here. I love. First of all, I have to love the laughter in this particular show. That energy, that fun-loving energy, because it's a big part of it. Because that's just everything that we could do to raise frequency. So, my role when I communicate with the angels, when I activate people, my role is from my experience with talking to them for 20 years. My role is just to actually be a part of bringing people in.
Nice.
I
And that's
love
Beautiful.
what I'm
that.
here to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love that the angels are confirming what we've been receiving for years, that we're in it. That we this time around, I guess, we've done it. We are doing it and we've done it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's the good news is there's no going back.
Yeah.
So, and the even greater news is that we don't want to. Because so many things have changed, right? And I
Yeah.
used to work in and a filmmaker, and I still love the craft of storytelling, but not in that mechanism necessarily of Hollywood. But what's interesting about that is that, when we're talking about going back, one of the things I've noticed, just one little thing that indicates that we really have changed and we don't want to go back is that we don't put celebrities on a pedestal anymore. Now,
Mhm.
I've never really thought that that was a thing, but I'm noticing that collective humanity is already dramatically shrinking in the influence or the power that they give, like, or actors or that sort of thing. And that's just
Yeah.
one little sign that we're on this path of being more unity, more connected to the divine, and in a much more quantum paradigm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely. And we're also starting to see celebrities coming into this space too, because
Mhm.
my father was in the music industry, so I'm old LA,
Hmm.
that whole thing, and there was a time when they were on that pedestal, and they held that pedestal very well, and now a lot of you find out that like, we just heard that Tina Turner, put out an album not too long ago that's all mantra and meditation.
Mm.
It's like,
Nice.
Hmm.
"What?" And
Nice.
I know a lot of people, they're into the meditation, they're into doing this. I have some family even in the industry that they're into meditation and Paramahansa Yogananda's thing. I was like, "Wait a minute, what? What?
Oh,
This is awesome." And I saw a picture of his
oh,
daughter in church the other day. I was like, "Hallelujah." It's so
oh.
cool.
It's funny that you mentioned that name because Hansa Yogananda, and I have the audio version of his book. And it's
Mhm.
interesting when you think about the way that we transcend time and space when we're powerful, because every time I would get tempted or called, let's say, to listen to a chapter of that book, whatever he talked about was right on point with what
Yes.
I
Mhm.
needed to hear.
Yes.
Now, it's interesting because he comes up in conversation today, and recently I do activations through a quantum healing technique that's like what you would call hypnosis, but
Right.
uh, people get freaked out when you say that word. Healing technique where I take people into their higher mind and they go on a journey. And to this person, Paramahansa Yogananda showed up for her and said something very profound to her. It was perfect for her because he said, "There's only one direction that you travel, and it's forward." And that's such a relieving thing for someone in that state who's connecting with Yogananda in the astral plane and getting an opportunity, because the person that this was for is someone who constantly questions whether they're the wrong thing as it applies to influencing the timeline what they're meant to experience forward. So wondering if they did the right thing or the wrong thing that's going
Mhm.
to bring what they want to experience. That's a very valid question. And why? Because no matter what, when we're on the right path, as we all know, when we're on the right path, it doesn't look like it a lot of times.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so
Totally.
it
Yeah.
my here's another bumper sticker. If it's a sloppy mess, you're on the right path.
You're on the right path.
Absolutely.
I have dreams a lot or out of body experiences, that type of thing where I'm walking around, walking forward, not walking backwards,
Ah,
but walking forward, and I'm walking in a circle, and I'm just walking in a circle. There's all these distractions on the side. That's life, isn't it? all these distractions around me, and I'm just walking in a circle. I'm walking with people, and we're walking in this circle, and my guide is right there with me. And I'm like, and then I come back here. I'm like, is that what it looks like? What we're doing here, is that what it looks like in the higher planes? That we're just walking in this circle around and around and around we go. Hopefully we go, further inward as we go around this circle.
Well, yeah, actually, the circle is heart shaped, just so you know.
Aw, I
Oh,
love
yeah,
It's
there you
heart
go.
that.
shaped.
Petra is here from Bora Bora. Yay! Hello, everybody.
Yes,
We've got
Wow,
lots of
hello.
people coming
lots
on.
of
Oh my
people.
gosh, this is so fun.
Mhm.
Seth,
Yeah.
I
you're
love it.
attracting all
Yes.
these beautiful hearts here.
All these angels,
Do you know it's
angels in the body. We're
do you
all
know it's not
angels.
yes. And it's not me. I do stuff with the angels. I it's funny, I actually had to let go of a marketing person because they wanted me to do things these sort of marketing ways, and it wasn't working, and it didn't resonate with what I do because I'll do an event, with the angels, and I always give it to them, and I always step to the side, right? And as long as we step to the side and let the angels do their thing. But every time I do that, and every time I do things, I go there and there might be two registrations the day before I'll get there. It's a full house. And someone's like, I don't know how I found this, or angels call them in, which is beautiful. And
Mhm.
that's exactly how it works. They're really good about that.
Yeah, all you got to
Yes.
do is ask.
That's right. Speaking of which, for those that are local, I do see some people here that I know that are local. Seph is doing an event locally in the Beaverton area, Portland, Oregon area, um, on the 24th of February, and I'm hosting that.
Ooh.
So just FYI, and we can talk a little bit about that as well. Do you have the
It's
24th?
it's actually the 25th,
Oh, I'm sorry,
25th
25th.
Saturday, right?
25th. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I remembered because it was 2 months after Christmas, and I was like, "Oh, Christmas again."
Yes,
So,
okay, let me make sure I have it on. The
Saturday,
it's a
25th.
Saturday? The 25th, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes, 25th.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, it's on the 25th, February 25th, on that Saturday.
Yes,
So,
yes. And
hopefully,
I'm so I'm s
you'll come.
yes, I'm so excited to do it too. So,
Mhm, me too.
these are activations where I bring, the audience, where I bring the participants, I bring them into a state of being, into the equation. And depending on, not everybody has the same experience, but most people have an interaction with their guide or their guidance. And but the activation happens energetically. And when we when we create a portal to go into the quantum field with our angels and spirit guides and our guidance team, then what happens is just that being connected to but it's actually we're always connected to it, but the angels say it's heightening our awareness of being connected to that quantum field. Miraculous things start happening, and I used to go. I'm from Southern California as well, and we used to take a lot of trips to Integratron for the crystal bowl meditations.
Yes. Oh,
And the
Oh, I love
Integratron,
that
they're
place.
great.
so
Yeah.
good.
Yes, and but I started realizing by the time I get home, so many miraculous things would happen from the activation that would happen there. It's on a ley line, and then the bowls brought us into heart and mind cohesion. And I started to like kind of look at what is it that we do and what is it that that does that makes all that happen. So this event is an activation, sort of like Integratron or something like that, where we're brought into that heart and mind cohesion. And so these events are really about all the miracles that happen
Yeah.
later, and I'm just there to play.
Nice, nice. So, Steph, let me ask you this. Can you give us a little bit of background with how you became remembered, or your awareness of the angels, how you remembered the
Oh,
angels, and if you have, what kind of experiences you've had with them? Did this start when you were a kid? Did you have some kind of an awakening or anything like that? I'm
yes,
curious. Yeah.
yes. D, A, B, and C above, but I'll share with you exactly what that
Yay,
is.
all right.
So, when I was a kid, I do remember, but now I know that it was because gave me an opportunity to access what I just called insight. And I knew it was my angels or something speaking to me. And I remember figuring out some cool things. For example, um, and for example, the angels taught me that how we're all one, basically, and that that the love that's in our heart is belongs to God or the Creator, right? And so when there's a triangulation that happens when we're in connection with each other, where we bring God to each other, where we bring the quantum field, the divine, the Creator, comfortable with to create to refer to the Creator. And there's this triangulation effect that happens through our hearts, and they showed me like a triangulation from the Creator through our hearts to each other, like a triangulation. So I've had these like amazing insights. I remember at 5 years old, I asked my mom if we were puppets for God. And what I understood when I had that awakening was that there's a unity, and that what was inside of us is the divine, is the Creator. And I was able to understand that. But I also am a person who was bullied and didn't fit in. So I where I needed to try to fit in. And I was a successful real estate agent, very linear, very practical, very much, in all of that. And the 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 um, when I was about 30, I had uh, there's a lot that I had where I had a very like a setback, a huge setback. And so I called them in basically, but I didn't really call them in. I called them in a way that I didn't understand that I was calling them in. And after that, I felt them touch me and feel me to me. And
Wow.
the day after they revealed to me that they had that the reason that that event occurred was so that I could actually uh, begin to communicate with them that we had work to do together. And I was like, okay, great. It was took some time. They played with me a little bit while I wasn't telling anybody about it. Things like telling me things that would happen, like my sister's going to call me and tell me that she's pregnant for a little girl, and 4 hours later she would. You know, with regards to that one, 4 or 5 years later, my niece calls me out of the blue and asks me if I remember uh, when the angels told me that she was coming. And I never told her about that. So she remembers being on the other side and such. But they kept doing all these things. But when they told me what my work was, they told me it had everything to do with the coming of heaven on earth, what we refer to as the Ascension, or the new earth that's coming. And they began to describe what that was going to be like. And they began to describe the process of getting there and our role. And I don't say my role, our role in helping to facilitate and bring that in. So it's been 20 years since they've been in my life. And as for those out there who are curious and probably can even relate to this and need it validated, yes, your life changes dramatically when they come in. And so anything that's already in place, everything's got to go because you're in a new alignment. And I do readings with angels with people, and one of the things that I'm noticing a lot of, because a lot of people are becoming activated or awakened, and for those of you in the audience, you're going to notice that your old job doesn't serve you anymore. Sometimes your old relationships
Yeah.
don't serve you anymore, and they got you to where you are now, and now you're a new person, and so new creations. And so we just want to go with that. We want to flow with that and let it happen, because we don't know until we see what occurs and continues to occur, especially when we're traveling that circle that you referred to earlier, the one that's
Yeah.
shaped like a heart, and we're doing that. So I could say that I doubted it when I came in, but I went along with
Mhm.
it. I made them prove themselves to me. So, yes.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I know Michelle likes to do that too.
Mhm.
I never really got in the habit of doing that. I just kind of, I don't know. Uh, okay, so we apparently have a bot in here. Let me see, because I don't want to be. I do see the chat, and I blocked whoever that was, Tarot
Okay.
Destroyer. I don't see them in here anymore. Tell me if
Okay.
you see them, because I don't see them anymore.
My chat disappeared.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, so I can't see the chat anymore. It's
Okay.
like, "Be gone, ye dark ones."
Okay, I see the chat.
Okay.
Well, at least I see the history of it. I don't know if anyone's chatted anything since. I blocked them. Um,
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've had a problem with that. That means we are rocking the high vibe.
right.
We've
Yeah.
upset their demons.
It said, but it only let me block them for 5 minutes. If someone could type in now and let us know if just say hi or something so we can see if we can see your chat, your message.
I was gonna do just a little bit of
Right.
energy here.
Just to,
Woo! Clear that out.
Hmm.
Mm.
I didn't think it was you, Bits of Sunshine. Thank you. Yeah, I saw that whoever it
Yeah, no,
was,
it wasn't.
used you. Yeah,
It's a bot, and
right. But they
it
used
gets
her
activated by
name. It used her name. So, okay, so we
yeah.
do see you. Okay, thank you. All right, so we're
Okay,
good.
good. So she came through. All right. So let
Yeah.
me see. I'm gonna do something here.
Yes,
Restream
I
is
see you,
telling me.
Adele. Yes.
Yeah, I see chats coming through too.
Okay, good.
All
Okay.
right, because I do not. So let me see. Let me see if this activates it. If not, I will not be on chat patrol. No, it's not pulling it in.
Oh, weird.
They
Okay.
knocked me out. That's okay though. I'll make up my own chat.
There we go.
Okay. Someone says hi,
Right.
beautiful angels. So we say hello to you as well.
Yes, Rachel,
Yes.
yes. Okay. Well, thank you for
Mm,
sharing that, Seph. Yeah, when you're really vibing high, uh, the ones that want to shut you down show up, don't they? Yeah, that
So they
makes you.
say.
Mhm. I know
Yeah.
this doesn't happen. It normally doesn't happen. Not
mm-mm,
not quite like that.
mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm. That's okay though.
Hey, that means that we're doing something good
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
we're pretty strong.
That song, "Ain't no stopping us now.
Right.
We've got the"
Yes. I love it.
That's right.
That's great. I love it. I love it.
So,
So good.
Steph, you also are a tarot reader, and you created your own deck, correct?
Yes. I did.
What?
I did.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Check it out. This is the cover. Okay.
Can
It's
you hold
called
it
the
up closer
Ascension with
to
the Angels Tarot.
Ascension with the Angels tarot? Oh, nice. Nice.
Ooh, and where can people
And then
find it?
here's the back cover. It's
Mm,
Metatron's cube.
Mhm.
So I just actually received that. So it's on my website, talktomyangels.com, and it
okay.
comes with the class that I teach. So
Oh,
I
nice.
started teaching tarot. Yeah, when the angels first came to me, I found tarot, and I decided to use that as a way to communicate with them, to get their messages and things like that. So it's a great way. What I've learned is tarot is actually an amazing tool for expanding into your quantum state. So it's it's not necessarily the methodical or the energetic aspect of it where that occurs. So I've been teaching it for a very long time, but as a tool for for you know conscious expansion. Now that for the longest time that was such a like a vague and maybe unrelatable goal or objective, conscious expansion. And then, of course, 2020 happened, and that's where all of a sudden we hit this ascension portal in March. That's what the angels call it, an ascension portal in March of 2020.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
it
Nice.
coincided with another event list for that ascension portal. And what happens now is that we understand why conscious expansion is important to us because we get access to the guidance and such. But to stay on point with your question, is that so I use it now. I can read with it, but I'm a stream of conscious channel. So when I do readings, I hear them and I speak. I will use the cards a little bit, especially the ones that I designed here, because I understand their meaning in a certain way, and it'll bring up certain aspects in the archetype that's represented in the card. So actually, my favorite card, and it's right here at the top. And I'll tell you a little bit about creating these. So this one here is the Eight of
Wow.
Pentacles,
Mhm.
and you
Ooh.
see it's the Akashic Library and the Angel and the Book of Life. So
Nice.
I I found the artist to take the concepts that I had and make these cards.
Wow.
And the Eight of Pentacles to me represents like soul agreements, which is an important part of the conversation that we have at any time. It's like, where is this, what, my soul agreement to this? And so the Eight of Pentacles is about your craft or your calling, or it could be about agreements. So I told the artist, I was actually, the funny thing is that I was in Rio because I got married to in Brazil. And so my spouse lives in Brazil. And this library was in Rio de Janeiro. And so I
Ooh.
gave her this picture and I asked her to find a library like it, to put it in there because it looked like the Akashic Library. But what she did was she went in and embellished the photo that I took. So, in other words, I was honoring one of my soul agreements, and I came across a library that looked like the Akashic Library, and it ends up being the artwork. So it has quite a profound meaning for me in
Mm,
that sense. So you know, that's where that comes out of. So yes,
nice.
the deck was created, and I teach an online course. It's a bit hybridized. In other words, I have video courses that teach you the meanings of the cards and how to use them and how to communicate with your angels and spirit guides. But then, as part of that class, I also do group coaching 2 nights a week where people come in and we create community and we do all kinds of good stuff where we do, pull cards and do readings in the room. And it's just a lot. It's really a love fest with cards. We could leave the cards in there. We can bring the cards in there, but we bring the angels. It's a great big love fest. But yes, we learn a lot and advance a lot, and it usually ends up being very profound. And you both know when we do our work, I'm noticing like we get what I call consciously drunk or consciously high,
Mm,
where
Mhm.
your higher mind is just so expanded. And so after the class, I'm just feeling like, oh, I better not drive, because uh, it's so
yeah.
consciously high
Have
that
to ground some
it's,
after
it's
doing that type of, connection, definitely. It's important to ground.
yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Yes.
I love that
And
you use tarot and you connect with angels with the tarot, um, because you know how tarot and I guess oracle cards too, I don't know, and things like tools that we use to connect to spirit are demonized in the old way of thinking, the Christianity and things like that. And it's really, and I always thought it was really funny, ironic that started communicating with Jesus, Yeshua, on a spirit board, what is known
yes.
as a Ouija board, but this was an angel board, but it's still a spirit board, same thing. And that's when I first started communicating with him in this space where my mother brought him to me because I was communicating with
Yes.
her. And so you're communicating with angels using, the tarot cards, or not. That isn't the only way you communicate, but I love
Yes.
that it just puts the whammy on all on that programming. It's deprogramming, actually, is what it is. I love it.
Yes. Well, you said so much in that, which is really, I love taking on this topic. So
I
first,
did.
so yeah, first of all, no, this is really exciting. First of all, one of the most amazing pieces of this is that is alive all the time. So if I am asking the angels a question and a car cuts me off with a bumper sticker that gives me the same message, that's no different then
Mhm.
utilizing a card that
Thank
utilizes
you.
synchronicity when I'm communicating with the divine. The other is I grew up Catholic as well. And I also speak with Yeshua, who loves us so much. And he came here to spread love, not that other
Mhm.
thing, that other pervasive thing that got interpreted some. That's a totally different conversation, because if you've been talking to him, he talks about what happened, make that pervasive aspect there, and
Mhm.
he's right on the money too, of course. And so he's talking to a lot of us, but the
Yes.
the yes. So the other thing is that, like in this deck, I removed the devil card, and it's the fear card, because it really is about fear. And if I happen to find it in a second, I'll show it to you. But I removed the high priestess and I made it the intuition card, because that's what it's about. And then I also put messages from the angels on each card, so you can use it as a daily oracle card.
Oh,
So
nice. Nice.
when a card has a message like an oracle card, and here's the fear card. So there's two paths representing the split mind, and one is the light. You can see the angel
Ooh.
feather guiding him, and the other one is the path that the ego wants to take us on. You know,
Ooh, I just got
so
so much energy when you showed that. Wow, that's really cool. I have a
yeah, and
question.
it's
Someone in the audience has a question
yeah.
for you, Seth, about your deck. Um, from Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you here. Does Seth's deck come with a guidebook with those new interpretations? Is her question.
This
And
guidebook right
Yep,
here.
the answer
that
is yes.
guidebook.
The
Yeah.
answer is yes.
So
Okay.
uh, first, first of all, that this deck, when I created this deck with the designer, the angels told me that it has an energy embedded in it. And so a lot of people who are energetically aware pick it up and they say, I can feel the
Mhm,
energy. And it's the angels' energy. It's not my
mhm,
energy, it's the angels' energy. God is, the creator is the love. And I'm just a vessel that wants to actually spread as much of it as I can. And there was with creating this deck, because when I found the artist, she's also connects with the angels, and I told her, and this one is the Ace of Swords, and I said to her, I said, the angels said that we should do the violet flame of transmutation, and she said, well, that's funny because I was just drawing something, and now I know what it is. So she was channeling the design, and it has the Fibonacci sequence in it too, the golden ratio, or the embedded aspect of the divine's blueprint in nature. And so they have kind of like a dreamlike quality to them. So they're not like,
mhm,
some people have asked if there was a printing error, because they're not like crisp. Like, yes, I do have a booklet that comes with it, but I also teach a course to do that as well. So when you sign up for the course, you get a deck of the cards. And so when you sign up for the course, you get a deck of the cards, and then it goes along with it.
Nice, nice, yeah. And I will have information of Seth's course on my website, and I'll be spreading it out after this podcast. This is
Mm,
our announcement.
thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm excited about it. Definitely.
super
Well,
fun.
it's just another way of spreading love, and that's the fun part, is spreading
Right.
that love.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's who we are. Go ahead,
yeah,
Michelle.
and
Exactly.
exactly. And that's what we're here to do. I notice so many people, spiritual people, are it's so serious, and we got to blah, 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 blah. And I've always been the woohoo, rainbows and unicorns, and I've been dressed down a little bit, and it's like, no, it's supposed to be happy and uplifting and joyful and
Oh,
exciting and all that kind of stuff. And I just refuse to change, and I'm so happy that I stood my ground.
well, on top of that, you're gonna love this, because so when I worked in film and I wrote comedy, I love comedy and I love to laugh, and I always make people laugh, and never while hurting another human being. There's a way of doing that. It's fun, just making people laugh. And one time I asked the angels when I was in a meditative state, I asked one of my guides and angels, what is it with the comedy and writing the comedy? Now, I had just ordered a personalized license plate for myself that said Disco Bunny, which was a name that I gave myself in third person. But the angel said to me, "No, Disco Bunny is your inner healer as a comedian, as someone who makes people laugh without creating hardship or criticism for other people." And they said that when we do that, we help people. Now it's interesting to note that when you laugh, like when you're stuck in your head, our optimum condition is that heart and mind cohesion,
Yeah.
when both
Mhm.
our right and left brains are in sync. Well, when we laugh, by virtue of laughing, we can go from or in our logical or ego, and something makes us laugh instantly. That hemi-syncing happens.
Yeah.
And there's something about laughing that actually raises us out of it. We can
Mhm.
have a good laugh. Have you ever done this where you're upset about something, you start laughing about something or something else, and suddenly you're no longer upset about that
Yeah.
thing anymore because you can't be. You don't go back to it, you put it down. So
Yeah.
laughing is such a healing thing to do, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
she would
much.
channel a message to me, "Laughter is the best medicine," which I have on my website. It's
Yeah.
because it heals us, and that's what my partner and I try to do if we ever have a disagreement, is we have to remember to make each other laugh, to say something to make the other person laugh during that. We
Yeah.
have to get out of that frustration, whatever it is, and then it transforms everything.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's part
get
of
out
the
of the ditch. Yeah.
techniques I use with my healing is part of the way, because
Mm.
I'm a hypnotherapist and all that kind of stuff as well. And part of my process is there's laughter in there. And once
Yeah.
we get in there, bink,
Mm-hmm.
bink, brain is balanced, nervous system cranks
Yeah.
down a couple, then we can go in.
Yeah. You know
And
what I
it's a
learned the
Yes.
really
most?
powerful process.
It is. You you probably heard the story about Norman Cousins, right? Who cured himself of cancer with laughter. They
Oh,
actually made a
Mm-hmm.
movie about him.
Yes.
Yeah, Ed Asner played it, and he cured his cancer with constant laughter, with just raising his frequency through laughter. He wouldn't let anyone in his hospital room that was down or didn't laugh with him. It didn't tell him a joke or whatever it was, and he was watching funny movies the whole time when he cured his cancer. But what I would learn the most is to be able to laugh at ourselves. That's the hardest thing, is to be able to laugh at ourselves. And, that's really
I
it took me a little while to be able to understand that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's interesting, one of the things that the angels taught me, they send little insight bubbles to me all the time, which I love to find
love
a
it.
way of, yeah, insight bubbles, right? And one of the things I remember, this beautiful, beautiful human being who I love so much, and she's such a loving, loving, loving person. And she was really being hard on herself. And I was listening and listening and listening. And I said to her, "Honey, you wish the best for everybody. You bring the angels in, you bring your gifts because you really, really want the best for everybody." Yes. And I said, "Did you ever think that that's what the angels want for you too?" And I said, "Why don't you take all that
Mm,
love that you have for everyone else? Why don't you why don't you bathe in that for yourself? Because you're a beautiful human being. You just have forgotten that, and I'm reminding you right now." And so when we get to that place where we can actually have compassion for ourselves, we hold ourselves to such a high standard, right?
yeah,
We're like, "Oh, I need to get this done. I need to get that done." Especially if you're trying to reach people with this kind of stuff. It's all technical and it's all this kind of stuff. You have this list of to do, and the next thing you know, you end up like someone or whatever. And, once we learn to have that compassion for ourselves, where we really love ourselves for who we are, then we can start laughing at ourselves as well.
Mhm, mhm.
Because after that, we can do that, and it's a way of actually increasing our alignment, and we'll watch a myriad of miracles show
Yeah.
up in our lives just from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we start remembering who we really are,
Right.
it makes all the
Yes.
silly human things that we get ourselves trapped into hilarious.
Yes.
Right? Michelle and
Yes.
I laugh a lot about us and the human
Everything.
condition, a lot
Being
everything.
knuckleheads.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? I see someone in the chat who says, I love you guys. So I want to reflect the love back at you too. And all of you. Right? And look at that. I
Love.
love you guys.
Yes,
So happy
yes.
you're here.
Love, love,
Yes.
love. Yeah,
For sure.
totally.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's, and we do tend to take ourselves too seriously, right? And,
Hmm.
looking back, and I know this, that when we're at home, wherever, home, heaven, wherever we are with our, loved ones, with the spirit, with God, with at home, that we're gonna look back at our life and say in certain aspects, "Why why was I so serious about that? Sheesh, I took everything so
Hmm.
seriously. It just doesn't seem so serious now from this perspective."
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
Uh, 100% agree. 100% agree. And what's also one of the recent insight bubbles that I got, and that actually kind of puts that into perspective, what you just said. Sometimes we'll get caught in this like, oh, I was trying to consciously create this or create that and create this and create that, and it hasn't showed up yet. And the angels say, you've forgotten that every single thing that's in your reality and your reality itself is your creation. So
Mhm.
if you doubt that you're a conscious creator, just look around, and if you see anything, you created it. But we write it off because we might be in an airport and we think somebody else built the airport, or in the garbage can over there, or the coffee stand over there, and the coffee that's in there, but nobody did that. And so, if we doubt that we're a powerful creator, look around you, and if you see anything at all, you created that.
Right.
And it's 4:44 right now.
Of
You
Yes,
just
I
course.
made
saw
that
that
right
too.
in the portal of the angels.
Yes, I
Bing.
saw that. Yes.
Co-creation.
Yes.
I
Nice.
love when
Love
they do
that.
that. I love it.
Yeah, and that goes along with
Yes.
what you were saying, Seth, that goes along with Ho'oponopono, which I'm sure you're aware of, and
Mm.
the teachings of that
Mm-hmm.
is we create our whole world, and that means the good and what we consider the bad. So we can't just take credit for the good and, say, "Oh,
I
I didn't
do.
make that happen." Okay,
I'm only taking credit for the good.
Oh, you know
right?
what?
Well, you'd love
It's fun.
to.
It's funny. I'm from Southern California, and I become a digital nomad going around. And I got to tell you this, because this is for the audience, is that so I got guided to go live in Sedona for a little while, and I manifested a house in Prescott, which is about an hour away. And it was a beautiful house, and it was so magical and miraculous how that occurred. And at one point, I got a little bit like, I'm like, I asked you to live in Sedona, but here I live in Prescott. What gives? And they told me, and I loved it when they said to this, they said, instead of actually looking at things that you don't understand as not part of the plan, try looking at everything as part of the plan. And then they said to me, you're not going to be there for very much longer. This was just a temporary spot. And what happened was, as they say, the minute you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. Suddenly, I loved being in Prescott. I found amazing things to do in Prescott. But I recently was called to sort of be a lot more nomadic.
Mhm.
And the house that I lived in, that I manifested, had a storage area that was separate from the house. So when it came time to move into the next role, I didn't even have to rent a truck. And I was like, oh man, you guys are good. You guys are really good, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so, and then after that, what happens, and I share this by benefit of the, for the benefit of the audience, the minute you took at that thing that you're resisting, that we're resisting, and the minute we say, well, it's part of the now. The minute we do that and the resistance goes away, wow, miracles start flowing.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing creation tool.
Yeah,
Yes.
100%. And being grateful. Being
Mhm.
grateful.
Yes.
You
Huge.
know,
Mhm.
just because a lot of times, we have in our mind what we think it's supposed to be, what it's supposed to look like, smell like, taste like, and we really have to learn to trust that inner guidance and that creative flow that we are always in to be bringing us the right thing, that whether it's the angels or guides, whoever it is. And it's so important to be in the moment and be grateful for that moment no matter what it is, because like you were saying, Seph, when you're not in resistance, what is coming to you can flow to you. When you're in
Mhm.
Mhm.
resistance, it's like, oh, angels, well, it's Prescott, so and all the blessings can't keep coming on. It's so important to be in that
Well,
flow.
you are so right because they're already there. The only
Yeah,
thing that happens when we're grateful and we do anything that brings us into heart and mind cohesion is that it's already flowing to us. We remove the block, we open the
right.
door.
Yeah,
So it's either there or it's not there, whatever. The thing is that it's always there. It's whether we raise our awareness to it or block or not raise our awareness to it. And so yeah, it totally works. And I love Ho'oponopono. That
yeah,
is
Yeah.
such a great, yeah.
It's an
It's
awesome tool.
Ho'oponopono.
yeah,
It is. And it's especially good for people who are just sort of making some of their first steps into it's first of all, it's an advanced thing that doesn't,
It is,
it's not
yeah.
a simple thing, but it is a great invitation for those that are starting to make
yeah,
some steps into this conscious space,
Mhm.
because it's so relatable,
It is, and
right?
it's ancient. It's ancient.
mhm,
I mean, it's been modernized a little bit, but it's amazing. It's an amazing tool, and I use it all the time if I feel frustrated about something or feel out of sorts. Then I remember having a because I was so upset. I shouldn't be so upset, but I was upset because I have an issue with my car and I've called the dealership 4 times and they have not called me back. 4 times I called the dealership to make an appointment to get my car worked on. That's 4 times I left messages. Really? I'm like, really? So I call back and somebody actually answers the phone in the dealership um, department. I'm like, oh, you answered the phone. I'm kind of, you know, and I told him I
Mm-hmm.
left messages 4 times. He goes, yeah, well, we're busy. I said, well, that's no reason not to call someone back. And I'm like, okay, I need to ho'oponopono this because I was getting really upset. And of course, he's not going to be helpful. I just wanted an apology. Oh, sorry, or something. But no, he's like, yeah, we're busy. I'm like, really? I bought my car there, and this is how you treat your customers. So I had to ho'oponopono it in order to get out of that frustration. And I mean, it works very quickly. Yeah,
yeah.
this was
Well,
just yesterday.
and
Mhm.
right, but and did you get the because if you haven't yet, I'm sure you're going to get an amazing, miraculous experience out of
Uh,
this, where something,
well,
yeah,
yeah, something definitely turned around because he said, "Well, that's not covered under your warranty because I have a water leak, right?" And, we've had some really bad rains, and I have a
Mm,
water leak in the the window, which is like, really, I've never ever heard of that before. So the seal, I guess, I don't know what's wrong with it, but he said that's not covered under your extended warranty. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I talked to my boyfriend. He goes, "Well, I know so and so, he'll fix it for you." And there was gonna be a 2-month waiting list at an auto
wow.
body shop. Yeah, everyone's backed up. So I tell my boy, he goes,
yes,
"Well, I'll just get so and so to look at it, don't worry." He works at a
yeah,
dealership.
yes,
So the
yes,
angels were like,
yeah,
Just give it to us."
yes,
And I
yes.
did.
I hope you don't mind. I interjected. Someone asked if I
No, of
do
course.
private readings, and I do. So
Yep.
yeah, my site's
Nice,
called
nice.
Talk talktomyangels.com, and you go under services and you can book a private reading there.
There
Thank
you
you.
go. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
should be in the details already, your website,
Yeah.
but good. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
nice. But yeah,
Awesome.
you just let go, and that's what Ho'oponopono is all about, is transmuting that energy and realizing, okay, I'm creating this. So, I mean, you don't even have to have those thoughts. It just transmutes it. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Over and over until it transmutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, and 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 it is interesting when, you know, people coaching readings and that sort of thing. Sometimes when we are really upset with someone, when we're really upset with someone, and then we allow to facilitate someone to go into their heart space, then all of the blocked communication or anything that was blocked will suddenly move. And the other person who might be, 10 miles, 10,000 miles away doesn't know that this person shifted into their heart, but somehow or another, it actually creates the shift in the
Hmm.
outward or the physical world too. So you get someone, they're angry, you say, well, okay, let's look at the compassion. Let's look at why this came into your life. And then all of a sudden they feel overwhelming compassion for the person. They go into their heart space and they're willing to make room for the other person to be a human being. And all of a sudden they're back into love with them. And then what is this? Oh, they just text me. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And it's really magical how that works. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, love is that frequency, and it's where we're all headed. We came
Hmm.
from love and we're going
Mhm.
home to love, and we may as well love right now because that's really all there is. And it's
Yes.
Right.
amazing. It's amazing when we can do that. One of the processes I do with clients and students and everything is when they're struggling with something, is you take that feeling, you take that emotion, not the other person, you take yours and just kind of bring it in your heart or hold it like a child and just say, I love you. You might be angry at
Mm,
someone, angry at just anger. I love you. Thank you. I love you so much. I
mm,
love you. I love you. I love you. And it's amazing how quickly that will shift and everything around and attached to it shifts too. And it's very easy.
yes.
Sometimes it starts out like, I love you.
Yeah, sometimes
Yes.
it's easier said than done, right? But you're right, Michelle. It's like,
Yes.
oh, I don't, because I've heard people, because I've, come helped with that same thing. Because you get out on the road. If you're driving, I'll do use this all the time. If someone cuts me off or someone makes me mad or whatever on the road, and I'm sure everyone here can relate to that. So I'll just remember, I love you, 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 because I realize I'm connecting to their energy. Because as soon as someone does that, what I'm doing is
Hmm.
connecting to what they're feeling, their whatever they got going on, and especially as empaths know that. So we're connecting to that person, and we're feeling what they have going on, and so switching that energy, I love you, I love you, I love you, and boom, it just switches it very quickly.
Well, you know
Thanks,
what? There's
Michelle.
a finger in our hand that means I love you too.
The middle finger. Yeah. How did we get that wrong? Okay.
uh, so it's
I don't use
it's I
that
love that.
finger
That's
anymore. Anymore.
See, people misunderstand all the time.
oh,
What it
that
means
is
is
so
you're number
funny
1.
because
You're number 1, right? Okay.
that because when I had a flat tire on the freeway and I had to go really slow, a
Yeah.
lot of people loved me that day. That is
That's
Isn't
so
it cool?
funny. So
You're getting the
There's
love.
so much love in the world.
yeah, no. Do you know? It's funny because I remember this time I was at a Starbucks in Los Angeles, and this woman was extremely abusive to the barista, and I don't really like that,
Mm-mm.
witnessing that. But during the course of the conversation, I heard her mention maybe on the call or something that her dog was at the vet and something like that.
Oh.
I just heard a little bit of that. So by the time I got to the counter, "I- is I said, is your dog at the vet? Did I hear you say that your dog is at the vet?" And she said, yes. I said, you must be worried about your dog. I said, your energy has a lot of worried energy in it. She says, I am. I said, did the vet tell you your dog is going to be okay? And she said, yes. I said, but you're worried still. She said, yes. I said, do you need a hug right now? Do you need a hug? Can I hug you? And I'm 6'2", so she comes up to here, right here on my heart. And I put her in here like this. And I just held
Mm,
her. And she started, and she said, who are you? I said, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. She looked at me. She says, there's so much light around you. I said, that's not me. We all are connected to something
mhm.
bigger than ourselves. And whoever that is wanted to make sure that you were loved today. She goes, I just got to know who you are. I said, it doesn't matter who I am. And I walked out. And I was like, wow, you know,
Mhm.
if only sometimes when someone comes at us aggressively, if only we could respond that way. It doesn't always work that well, but you know,
Yeah, it's just wounded,
it,
unloved parts of people that
mm,
respond that way, that have the
yeah,
pain, that have the struggle. We've gotta turn the love dial way up to start really counterbalancing what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, that's
And
mm,
beautiful. That's
yeah,
yeah,
I
totally.
love
Because
that. Hugs all around.
I know,
Woo.
right? It's
oh
easy
yeah,
to just get into judgment with someone who's abusing, or being rude to someone behind the counter or whatever. It's easy to get in that judgment mode, and when you realize that they're going through something, like Michelle, like you're saying, that they're being triggered or feeling worried about their dog, or there might be a family member or their job. It
Yeah,
doesn't, and there's some quote, and I can't remember what it is, but where it says something about y- you know remember that people are going through everyone's going through something.
yeah,
It Yeah, and
yeah,
we have no idea
yeah,
what another person could be going through. Yeah.
yeah, just be nice,
yeah.
would you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting. It's interesting because in that respect, when we talk about that dynamic, I've I think it's so helpful instead of saying those people who do that, I've caught myself doing that. And I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Such compassion and empathy for the person that I did that to. And I was like, what just took over my body?
Yeah,
What
Yeah.
just took me over? And I catch myself still doing that sometimes, but not all the time because there's certain times that I've caught myself doing it, and now before I'm ready to turn into a bulldog, I'm like, no, I know how this ends up. The ego takes over the conversation,
Like I did with the guy who answered the
then
phone at the dealership. Okay. You're like, oh, wait a minute.
yes,
Yeah, I kind of did that, didn't I? Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I let my frustration out on him,
Well,
and
I
it
mean,
probably wasn't even his fault,
but that
but I
makes us
needed.
right.
relatable. That makes
Yeah.
us relatable. That makes us relatable because we can actually still communicate with angels and have a lot of love flowing through us. And then this
Mhm.
alternating current shows up and it's like, it's
Yeah.
like this, you know,
So
but it does.
it does. Well, it makes us human for one thing, because we are human, and
Hmm.
we are
Hmm.
angels, and that we're all angelic in the higher realms for sure. I totally believe that. We have that angelic part of us, but we came here to be human, so that's okay. It's
Great
okay.
idea, that one.
I
Great
know, right?
idea, that one.
Who made up that mess?
Yeah, I just feel like when we get back there, we're gonna go, oh, that I think
It
that
was
the
oh, it
reason
was
that we come
him.
back here all the time, yeah, right. But I always have this idea that we miss the point when we're here. We get back there and we go, oh my gosh, that's what it was. Can I go back there again? And that's how we fall for it each time,
That's how we
right?
fall for it, is right. Yeah,
Yeah, we go
totally.
up there and we go, oh, that's right. I was supposed to chillax a little bit more and do all that other stuff. We're like, I'll get it right this time. I'll get into it this time. We get down here. we get flipped off once on the 4, we get cut off once on the 405, and we're back to what are we doing here?
Yeah, it doesn't take much, and then we got that veil of forgetfulness, that, that are
Yeah,
that keeps us from remembering why we're why we came back to right the wrongs or whatever you want to call it, pay our tab, as my guy calls it, pay our tab, kind of thing. So,
pay our tab, yeah.
pay our tab. So some people are asking,
Pay our
what do you
tab, yes.
pay our tab? Seth, um, would you bless us with maybe pulling a card if someone wants a card, not actual questions. We don't want to do questions, right? Maybe just if anyone wants a card pull, we can pull a card for them.
I've got a great idea for that, and I would love to. This is
Okay.
a great opportunity. So, I do a lot of events myself where also there's synchronicity. So everyone that's here and whatever it is, and I will pull a card. I'll explain what it means, and then I'll get what I'm getting hit with from the angels as a sort of a group reading, as a sort of a group blessing, or knowing that what's interesting is that the synchronicity is part of the equation here. So yes, I would love to do that. Oh,
Okay.
this one. Oh, this one. And I know this is also about what's happening in the collective too.
Oh, nice. I was
Um,
going to ask that
let's
question
see.
anyway.
Yeah. So this is related to the collective, and this you'll get a hit with this. Okay. So what I pulled is the Six of Cups. And in the image of the deck that we created here, the Six of Cups, it's all about innocence and a sense of being, an
Mhm.
innocence, a childlike sense of being. And the Six of Cups, and you could see the figure is remembering the creativity of his childhood. Okay,
Mm.
let me tell you what this means, especially for right now. If you've noticed in the last week, everything seems to have come to this kind of like dense, grinding halt. Does that make sense? Like
Mhm.
things seem like they're stuck in slow motion. I personally am quote unquote stuck in Dallas from the ice storm, Orlando, but I'm here for a reason. So all I can tell you is that right now, wherever you're stuck or wherever things are not moving, they are actually opportunities that you didn't realize that are there to experience something profound. I'm going to add to that what I'm hearing from them. In the last almost 3 years, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, a lot of us have lost that connectivity to the fun, the joy, and the playfulness in life. Let me assure you that if you put your work down right now and go, you only have to think for a moment why you got this message. You're actually being forced not to work so hard right now. You're actually being given a break. You're actually being forced to have a break. And if you remember the last time we were urged to have a little break, we got forced into one instead.
Yep.
Uh, uh, you know, so you're being asked to actually take a break and go and play and go have fun, especially with those that you love. And remember that in that expansive state of playing, especially with people you love, you are actually creating this quantum frequency that is connection to the divine creator that is going to start moving things dramatically forward. Because many of you, if not all of you, are in this spot on your path where you're ready to take an exponential leap, a quantum leap. You're ready for that. You're not ready for a little forward momentum, and the energy in my healing hands are going off for all of you that are receiving this. You're not wanting to, you'd like to go a little bit forward, but you really want to go quantum leap forward. And the thing is right now, this little stall right now is actually a pause so you can connect energetically and then have that quantum leap forward. So go play, go have fun. And if you're in a situation where you don't have any control over it, go play and go have fun. That's the message.
Nice.
That's amazing.
I love
It's
that.
so true. And Seph, that is exactly what I've been getting since the beginning of the year. It's like, don't push,
Mm-hmm.
don't rush, just sit back and play. And even last year, as I started painting, because it was like I can sit in front of my computer and find work to do all the time. And because I'm as I do much of what you do, and um I do all the marketing and all that stuff, right? So I can get trapped here forever, and
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
started
Mhm.
painting and giving myself that space, and things started moving and shifting and coming to places I never imagined that they would be. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so important
Yes.
that we take that time to stop and be still, be quiet, get into that creative flow. We all have creativity that wants to come up, and we
Mm-hmm.
don't have it in our kind of day to day on a regular basis. When we were
Yeah.
kids, we would learn to play an instrument. We would learn, what to paint or to
Mm-hmm.
draw, and it was part of the school curriculum. So as we became adults, we had these creative outlets, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't have any of that anymore.
I know. Well, and that is the thing. I do want to speak to that because for many people who are listening to this right now, you definitely have, not may have, but you definitely have quantum portal that we've been in over the last 3 years. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You have
Mhm.
you have raised your frequency where some of the things that you used to love, you don't even want to do them, and now you're trying to make a
Yeah.
list of all the new things that you want to do because the old things don't appeal to you. One thing, for example, I used to have an annual pass to Disneyland for years and years and years, and I don't care if I ever set foot in that place again, because
Mhm.
the crowds, first of all, and the energy of the crowds and all that
Mhm.
is so pervasive that you're away. Also, you're noticing that certain people that you've been loyal to and you really love, maybe they're a chronic complainer or someone that has a lot of negativity or whatever, and you're like, I love them, but I can't let this in my field. So there's all this stuff on your list that have been crossed off that you can't do anymore. This is an invitation to find new things. And cooking, experimenting with Indian recipes or Chinese food or a culture that's yours or not yours, celebrating your own culture or another one is just all kinds of things, container gardens, and
Yeah.
definitely connecting with other like minds because
Yes.
you get into these
Oh,
expansive
it's huge.
conversations. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's huge to find your tribe and
Yeah.
people that will support that where you can support each other. You don't have to be exactly like-minded, but who are on the same type of path that you are and understand what you're dealing with and you understand and supporting each other is really, really important.
And it's
Yep. They're just
like-hearted more than like-minded these days.
Like-hearted, yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
yes,
and what
like
makes it
heart.
kind of fun, if we can all be individual, different-minded, but like-hearted. It's like
Mhm.
God, in whatever way you express it and experience it, or they, them, there, can begin to
Mhm.
express itself in greater, more interesting ways too. I have a
Hmm.
membership group, and it's called A Million I Love Yous, and we have people from all different kind of things, and when we all get together and our heart is all in that same place with that whole thought that we are loving ourselves, learning to love ourselves, so that that overflow of love will flow out into the world, it's amazing. And it's just finding a place to
Mm.
plug into, like coming here and watching this show, checking in with Seph
Hmm.
and seeing what he's up to. Go play with him. I just was peeking on Instagram and I see that you're on there too. So go
Well,
plug
Nice.
in and find
Yeah.
where that love is and become a part of that.
yeah. Well, so great to be here with you guys. I love where this conversation went into such beautiful scenery. Yes.
Totally.
Thank you so much,
Yeah, well,
Steph.
thank you, Seph. Thank you. We're coming into a full moon, and I love the moon. I gauge my dream time and my out of body travels according to the moon and what's going on in my life. Um, so Michelle and I can pull a card too, right? And the
Okay.
reason I'm bringing this up is because I
Ooh,
brought
who
out the
wants
moon.
to come
One of
out?
my cards, I brought out my Moonology Oracle cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I started working with the um, energy of the new moon to create, and the not starting, but I have been doing it for quite a while, working with the energy of the moon and releasing during a full moon. I find is extremely helpful. And everyone, so many people are saying thank you, Seth. That was
I
beautiful. Yeah.
yes, thank you. Thank you. You courageous souls. Thank you.
So I have the goddess cards as well, and I'll pull a couple. And Michelle, if you want to pull a couple, and
I
Seth, you can pull another one, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna pull the Lyran cards for you guys, the Lions one to come
Yay!
out,
Love those. Love those.
communicate with you are Lyran star seeds and indigos, you super high vibe. Woo! The threefold flame, that 13th, 14th, 15th dimensional consciousness. It's good. It's
Mm.
so good. So let's see what we got. Whoa. Wow. Wow. Cards are flying everywhere.
Let's see.
Ooh, check this out. Boundaries.
Mm.
Boundaries. No is
Nice.
yes to self love. This is something that's so important these days, right now, because one
Oh,
of the
beautiful.
things that we've let ourselves in the past, that we've let ourselves go with is boundaries, putting up with some things. And like what Seth was talking about, we're over the last 3 years, wink, wink. I love that. We've had to
Nudge,
put up
nudge, wink, wink. Yeah.
boundaries because things are moving and we're shifting and changing. And having those boundaries are so important. And it's not holding others off, it's holding yourself in love and loving yourself. And so it's really,
Mm.
really important to keep doing that. And another thing that came through when I was working with my membership group last night was we were saying that, God, however you experience them, they, they're them, he, she, whatever, flows through us. And when you love yourself, you're loving God. And it's so important to remember that, right? Because if you're not loving yourself, you're not loving God. And it's time to turn that love to the inner and
And being loved by God.
being loved by God, right? Because we have to
Mhm.
acknowledge that within in order to be it. It's always flowing through us because that's what in my experience is God is love. It is love that is flowing through us.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And feeling and remembering that we are worthy of God's love. That's one of the biggest deterrents of our plane. The earth plane is not feeling worthy of God's love, not feeling worthy that we are loved, not just basically not feeling worthy for lots and lots of reasons, right? And
Mhm.
but when we don't feel worthy of God's love, that's huge. And I see that a lot with clientele and in lifetimes and stuff that we work with, not feeling worthy of God's love or not feeling. And I dealt with that when Yeshua first came to me. I didn't feel worthy. I'm like,
Mm.
what? So he had to work with me with healing that for quite a while. And yeah, that's really huge for the human collective, I believe. And that and that stems from the
Mhm.
feeling or the illusion that we are separate, that we're separate
Right.
from God. We aren't. Thanks,
Mm.
Michelle. So I have the full moon card here. Surrender to the divine,
Mm.
Surrender.
to the divine. I love
I
that.
love that.
Yeah. What we
Mhm.
were just talking about. Surrendering.
Yeah.
Surrender. Yeah. The
And
angels
and
have it.
and
God has it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, I pulled another card, and I was like going to be curious about how this complemented or connected the dots. I pulled the
Nice.
Two of Swords, and in this card you can see that the figure is in a deep state of meditation, or in a higher state of mind, and is rising above the imploding world. And this is the the Two of Swords represents that heart and mind cohesion,
Yeah.
where the hemispheres are synced up with each other. And so, that goes back to, I guess, the play as well, and the self-love
Mhm.
and the surrender,
Mhm.
because all of that is
Surrender.
like if you turn on a lamp, and it's not plugged in, it's not connected to be all that it can be. But if you plug it into its source, it can be all that it can be. And you turn on the light, and it lights up the whole room. So that's that sort of surrender and release, and get into the so that we get that opportunity to get into the sinking and playing. That is a laughing, playing, great way to get into heart and mind cohesion. And if we put down our challenges and then go do that, we go back and our challenges are resolved
Yeah.
miraculously.
Nice.
Love it.
100%.
Mhm.
So good.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
So,
Ooh,
Michelle, do you have another deck you want to pull from? I wanted to pull from the Goddess Oracle card
do that. Ooh,
as well.
yeah.
Okay, Goddess Oracle. And this one is by, I have a couple of them, three of them actually. This one is by Amy Sophia
Mm.
Marashinsky. Marashinsky. Yeah,
Mershinsky. I love that.
Marashinsky. Illustrated by Hirano Janto. So they're really nice cards. Okay. The Goddess Oracle. See what the
Yeah.
goddess has to say to us today. Can't stop, won't stop. Hey, B, how you doing?
Can't stop, won't stop.
Mhm.
You want me to go? Or are you almost ready?
I got it. Got it. Got
Ooh,
it.
ooh, I got
Okay. Sophia comes through with wisdom.
Mm.
it.
Sophia. Yes.
Mm.
Wow. I just Sophia recently. Sophia code.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later when we meet.
Nice. So here's a message from Sophia from the book. From the moment you enter till the time you surrender to death, all that you experience directly for yourself, all the burnt fingers to discover the fire is hot, all the falling flat when you reach your reach exceeds your grasp, all the explorations of territory known and unknown, all these are pathways to me.
Mm.
Seek to know, and you are me. Stretch to
Mm.
become, and you are me. The feminine quest for wisdom. The feminine is part of all women. All women are the goddess. All women have wisdom. All women are Sophia.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Mm. Mm. I love it.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
Mm-hmm.
true.
yeah.
It's true. And it's not just woman gender, it's the
It's
divine feminine
the
and
divine
all.
feminine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, I'm pulling from
Okay.
we got so many cards. We'll go real quick here.
I know. That's right.
It is Audi Harma. And this is a woman that I take my painting classes from.
Oh,
And she's got
nice.
these amazing decks. And the card I pulled was magic. Live in your
Magic.
magic
Mm.
all the time. And this little precious being on here is like a child, just sweet and innocent. And that's where the magic is, a lot of times. And we were talking a little bit earlier too. Sometimes, we're not sure what we do want to do. You know, a lot of things are fading away and we're kind of like, well, I'm not sure what I want to do or where I want to go. Look back on your childhood. What did you love then? What did you want to do then? Who did you want to be? How did you spend your time? And go back there and find that innocent magic that's always there and is always in you. Isn't that fun? I love that. So
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Beautiful
that is
card too.
fun. Love
magic.
the
Oh,
colors.
she's an amazing artist.
Yeah, very cool. Hey, Shelly.
Shell. Oh, hello. No, I'm sorry.
Shelly. Oh, is that your nickname, Shelly?
Is my dad here?
Okay.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, he is.
That is hilarious.
He probably is. Well, Seph, is there anything else you'd like to share before we close? We're about out of time here.
Well, I'm just first of all, I really want to reflect back to the audience and those that are watching and just so you know, like what we do for you. Like and what I mean by that is that we might not ever have met you, but like I love you. We learn this amazing to the
Mhm.
authentic love. Yes. And we learned what finger they use that from, right? So when I do this, I'll make sure that I connect that love finger, right? So, um, but just know that you're loved because I know that for a lot of you, things are a little bit more challenging than you'd like them to be, and things are a little bit more challenging than you thought they might be. And the path isn't as straight as you thought it would be. But I want you to just take this moment and receive that energy of love that's being sent to you right now. And I just want it to inspire you to do great things and to know that you're amazing. That's
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. And that's truth. True
Mhm.
dat.
Yeah.
Because it's so important that we remember that. And thank you for that reminder, Seth, because we do, and we need to remind each other. You know I spend a lot of time going, "You're awesome. You're amazing." And people are like, "Why do you do that?" And I said, "Because you are." We need to remind each other. We
We're
need to
all here to
remind
help each other out. That's what we are. We're all here to help each other out. Yeah, totally. So, who
Yes.
has things coming up? Michelle, you have something coming up that we can tell our peeps about?
No, not yet.
Not
I
yet?
have,
Okay.
a weekend off.
Yay!
But what's coming up is a big, long nap is what's coming up.
Okay, well, good, good. And we'll
What
hear
have you
about
got
their
coming up?
next I have a
Yeah. What do you have coming
class
up?
Sunday, connecting to your star family, and we're all,
Mm,
yeah, I'll lead us in ways to do that and also bring through channel messages. So guided meditation. It's an intensive class. It's one class, 3 hours. So if you're interested, go to my website, SharonSanana.com. And Seph
very
has his in-person workshop coming up on the 25th here in Beaverton. It'll be in Beaverton, Portland area, if anyone's interested. And I
Mhm.
will have that up on my website very soon. And also, what else you got coming up, Seph, or anything else where people could
Yes.
with you?
Yes, I have a 4-week intensive. It's
Mhm.
small group coaching that is about connecting more deeply with your angels. It's 4 weeks. It starts on the 16th of February,
Mhm.
and it's the group size is it's a very intimate, smaller group, and there's 4 weeks where we actually go in energetic, and it has a structure to it that builds on it. And with that, we learn how to connect more deeply with our angels and spirit guides for the purpose of getting guidance in our everyday life. So if
Nice.
anyone is interested in, if that calls you, then just reach out to me, use the website, and then you can just email me at talktomyangels@gmail.com.
Nice.
Talktomyangels@gmail.com, and just put angel course in the subject line, and I'll get you the information.
Nice.
Thank you.
angels.
Yes, thank
love
you.
angels. They're the
Angels, what's not to
best.
love? What's not to love? Yeah, I know.
And
Mhm.
really quick, did you guys hear about the angel that they found frozen in Siberia?
Yeah, that was a few years
What
ago,
was
right? Or
that?
or
I
it was
don't
some kind of
know.
being that had wings. It was a skeleton, right? And
Yes.
it had,
Well, it was a full flesh thing. They found it in the permafrost.
oh,
I
I wonder if that's the
know. I
same
just
thing I
found out
heard.
about it today, so I didn't have time to investigate. I'll be back
Oh,
with more information on our
yeah.
next
Wow,
show
that
next week.
Our
now
next show is
that
going to be
is
about frozen angels.
that
How to
Angel
that is a
how to
pickles
unfreeze your angel.
oh wow.
safely without damaging their wings.
Oh, now that is a cliffhanger right there.
How to unfreeze your angel. I know.
More next week on New Earth Rising.
Right?
That's the next class, the next course. Okay.
We love you guys, and Seph, thank you so much for being
Thank
here. You're
you. Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you
Well,
too. Thank you, you as well. And thank you to the audience. Love, love, love to you.
Mhm,
lots of
mhm.
love. Mwah.
Love you
Big
guys.
hugs.
Thanks for being
It-
here once more.
ooh,
That's
ooh,
right.
ooh,
Yes,
ooh,
that's
ooh,
right.
ooh,
Can't
ooh,
even do it.
ooh, ooh, ooh.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
We're out
everyone.
of
Come on back
here.
next week.
Mhm.